So if you have a strap at home, go ahead and have that close by. You could use a scarf, a belt in lieu of a strap. And we're going to start laying down on our backs. So go ahead and roll onto your back. And when you get there, just real nice and gentle, roll your knees, squeeze your knees into your chest, and you can rock a little bit from side to side. Just kind of get a sense for how things are feeling. You might not be squeezing your knees in very deep at all. That's absolutely fine. Start to find some nice deep breaths. So inhaling through your nose and then maybe opening your mouth, sighing the breath out, letting it go a few times like that. So just triggering in your mind this idea that you have landed on your yoga mat, that you're going to slow down a little bit here. You're going to start to pay attention to how things are feeling physically. You can go ahead and release your feet to the floor. Let's just start out with feet as wide as the mat, knees knocking in towards each other. So we're going to come into it's like modified constructive rest position. Arms can be a few different places. They can be by your side. Palms facing up is nice. It allows you to start to release your shoulder blades down. If you want a little more stretch into the shoulders, cactus arms can feel really good. And that gets into the upper arm a little bit as well. Perhaps it feels better for you to just have both hands on your belly so you're getting a little more internal rotation. So take a moment here and assess things out, see what you need. And then make sure that you're pressing into the center of the back of your head. Close your eyes if they're not already. Do a scan of your body as you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose. So starting at your feet, working your way up, just making sure that you aren't holding tension anywhere in your body that you don't need to. And then you're also going to start to lengthen out your breath. So you're going to let the inhale get a little longer. You're going to let the exhale get a little longer. And as much as possible, you're trying to keep the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale nice and even. Just soaking up these initial quiet moments. Giving yourself permission not to worry about the to-do list. Finding that beautiful, even rhythm of your breath. Now let's actually give this a little bit more structure today. So exhale all the breath out. And then we're going to inhale to the count of 6. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just do that 3 more rounds with that count inside your head. So elongating the breath, both the inhale and the exhale. And when you're complete, you'll heel toe your feet closer together, hug your knees in again, give them a little squeeze. Maybe already this is starting to feel a little easier. Maybe you're not there yet. That's also okay. Good, and then let's keep our right knee squeezing in. Place your left foot down on the mat so your ankle will approximately be underneath your knee. And then just start to circle around in your right hip socket. These can be big circles, little circles, just warming that big joint up. And switch directions here. And then from here, you're going to find your strap. You're going to take it over the sole of your foot. So strap is going to go a little bit below the bridge of the foot, but slightly above the arch. So like the upper 2/3 of the foot is a really good place for your strap to be. And then you're going to take one strap in each hand, and you're going to want to come down as far as is necessary for you to have both shoulders pressing down into the mat underneath you. Maybe your leg comes to straight, maybe it doesn't. And you can really just feel your right ankle over that right sit bone. So you don't have to pull the leg back super far, more of an L shape here. Flex the foot. Using the strap is really nice because it helps you to feel that. Good. And then just taking a few breaths like this, noticing how the backside of your body is pressing evenly. Notice if you have the death grip on your fingers, your hands. See if you can hold on with a little bit of a relaxed feeling. It's kind of hard to do. And you might be feeling a pretty significant stretch here. So all of us have different things going on in our bodies. We're built different. If you're getting a good stretch, I want you to stay here. If you feel like you could go a little further, start to flex your left toes up towards the ceiling and then press forward through that heel. Begin to straighten that leg on your mat. And you want to just imagine that somebody is pressing down on that left thigh. So again, both hip plates underneath you are pressing into your mat. If you come here and it puts undue pressure in your lower back, you just go ahead and bend that left knee again. From here, we're going to take both straps into our right hand. And you want this sensation that you're drawing that right hip forward. So hold on to all of that. You can take your left hand on top of your left thigh. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, keep drawing that right hip forward as you begin to extend that right leg off to the side. Any amount. So you're going to know you've gone too far if your left hip plate starts to pop up off the mat. For some of us, this is really easy. For most of us, this is actually pretty challenging. You might be off to the side just a little bit. It counts. You're doing it right. So again, breath smooth and steady. Gaze can just be straight up at the ceiling. And you're just noticing the sensations happening in your body, sending some breath to those places where you're feeling some intensity in this pose. Check in with your left toes again, particularly if that leg is extended. You want that leg really active. It is as though you are standing on it. So just imagine that you're pressing that foot into a wall in front of you. From here, we're going to inhale up to center with the right leg. So again, back side of the body presses down. Take both straps into your left hand, bring your right arm out in a T shape, and we're going to find the twist this time. So as you exhale, you start to extend right leg to the left. Notice how my right hip plate is popping up this time. For some of us, we might start to stack hips. Some of us might not get quite that far. Again, it's all good. The important thing here is to remember that your right shoulder blade should be pressing down into the mat. So if you're a little tighter, you're going to come out of the twist a little bit. And even here, maybe you could just take your thumb into that right hip crease, gently pull forward, and then see if you can hold on to that sensation as you extend that right arm back out. You might be rolling to the outer edge of your left foot a little bit here. And then you can gaze out over your right fingertips. If it feels okay in your neck, that's going to stretch into the left side of the neck. Breath smooth and steady, always reminding yourself to come back to that breath. That inhale through the nose, that exhale through the nose. Couple more here. Just noticing where you're getting the sensation. This whole little series that we're doing is so great for the entire spine. Good little stretch if you have tight hips, if you tend to get sciatica. This is something that you can do, while you're watching something on Netflix. You don't even have to do this in the context of a full yoga session. You can just isolate this little bit that we're doing right now. All right, we're going to inhale up to center. Okay, so finding that L shape again, where we started, we're going to keep back side of the body pressing evenly. I want you to bring your right big toe towards your left shoulder head. So you're just going diagonal and back a little bit. I didn't go very far at all, and I can totally feel this. So it's a deep stretch into the hamstring, behind the knee. You could be feeling it in the calf. I'm getting a little outer hip, some glute work. So tiny, tiny movement, big, big stretch. Back out a little bit if you need to. Just a few more breaths here. Find that inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose. Good. And then you're going to come back to center, and we're going to take that little sequence to the second side so you can bend your right knee Hug both knees in, and then just notice, how do you feel differently on this right side? Maybe it feels like you're an inch longer, a little more open. Just observe that. And then keep your left knee squeezing in. So you're going to place that right foot down on the mat. And nice and easy here, just start to circle that left leg around in the hip socket a few times each direction. Big, small, whatever feels good for you. Big joints, we just want to kind of gently open it up here, especially if we haven't done much today. All right, so just making your way back to center. Again, find your strap, take it around the top of that left foot. So again, you're kind of in the upper 2/3. Come down as far on the strap as you need to, so shoulder blades can press down. And just starting here with that right knee bent, both hip plates underneath you pressing evenly. And then this sensation of drawing that left hip slightly forward. Side to side, this pose can feel really different too. So this side might be your tight side. Maybe you're feeling a lot of intensity here. If that's you, this is where you stay. Otherwise, lift the toes, right toes up off the mat. So you're flexing that foot and then start to press forward through that heel, bringing your right leg to straight. And that's just going to intensify the stretch that you're feeling. You might get a little more stretch into the lumbar, lower back area. Couple breaths like this. You can always sneak your hands a little further down the strap if you need to. From here, let's take both straps into our left hand and take your right hand on top of your right thigh if that leg is extended. You can also do that if the knee is bent. Either way, just reminding the back side of your body to press evenly. This is your base. As you exhale, start to extend left leg off to the left. And I can demo it a little easier on this side, just how I'm facing the camera. So if this right sit bone, butt cheek starts to lift up, I know I've gone too far. So I back out. So I have that nice, even base. Keep breathing here, noticing where you're getting the sensations in your body. Notice if you're creating tension anywhere. So that might be in the shoulders. You might be clenching your jaw. Can you soften in those places? You're going to inhale up to center with that left leg. Both straps come into your right hand, left arm out in a T shape. Good, nice deep inhale. And then exhale, you start to make your way into the twists. And again, we're all going to go to a different place. You might just move the tiniest amount, but you're feeling a really intense stretch. That means that's where you need to be. Some of us are a little more open, so the hips might start to stack. And then again, you can just look straight up at the ceiling here, maybe roll onto your left cheek, gaze out over your left fingertips. Even in this configuration, can you find that idea of bringing that left hip forward? So you're creating that space in the lower left waist. Breath smooth and steady. Nice and easy on your inhale. Bring left leg back upright. So feel the back side of your body pressing. This is a configuration we have starting this process out. Left big toe is going to come towards right shoulder head. So tiny little diagonal movements, super intense. Keep breathing. Back out a little bit if you need to. Send your breath to the places in your leg, your lower back where you're feeling this. Good. Come back to center and then start to bend that left knee. You just move your strap off to one side. Hug both knees in, and hopefully you're feeling nice and even here. Let's just start to gently roll forward and back. Of course, if that doesn't feel good to you, you can skip this. And let's turn this into like a little fun core balance thing. So the next time You roll up. I want you to see if you can do it without touching your toes down and reach your arms forward. So this is like a little mini Navasana, and it might not look so good the first time. You're going to feel this deep in your belly. You're trying to keep your spine nice and long. Let's roll back again. Good. So just a couple of times, rolling forward and back. You know where we're going now. And then the next time you come up, you're going to see you can find those sit bones. Just hover it. It might not look good. This is actually really hard, what I'm asking you to do. Good work. Okay. Rock and roll. Couple more times. And then one more time. See if you can rock on up. Maybe spread your toes. Maybe gaze forward. You can always have your hands behind your thighs too. Good work. You're feeling that burn deep down in your belly. Go ahead and cross your ankles and then rock forward. So making your way to tabletop position, just landing with your shoulders over your wrists, knees underneath your hips, and let's move into our cat-cow. So as you inhale, chest extends forward through the gates of your shoulders, you're arching in your lumbar. As you exhale, press down. So firm into your shins, the tops of your feet, let your neck release. Inhaling, arching. And exhaling, rounding in. Maybe close your eyes here if they're not already. Just continue this cat-cow for several rounds of breath. And you're moving with your breath. So perhaps stretching the inhale and exhale out a little bit today. That's particularly helpful if you're feeling a little anxious, a little agitated, like there's too much on the plate. Conversely, if you're feeling a little tired, a little sleepy, like you need a little boost of energy, maybe start to speed your breath up. And then pay attention here to how things are feeling in your spine and to how things start to open up as we just introduce this tiny bit of movement. Really beautiful. So this just mini vinyasa here, connecting movement with breath, simple. On our next inhale, we're going to come back to a neutral spine, neither arching nor rounding. Let's get into the core again a little bit here. So at the same time, we're going to lift a right leg and left arm. We're going to do this on our inhale. So as you're inhaling, go ahead and find that diagonal stretch. Try not to overarch in your lower back. So feel your belly button pull towards your back ribs. See if you can get your right shoulder blade to release down your back a little more, and your gaze is just slightly in front of your fingertips. Are you breathing? This is definitely a bit of a balance pose. Sometimes we hold the breath when we're balancing. These look good. One more deep inhale, lengthen out. Nice work. As you exhale, release that side down. Make any little adjustments that you need to. So shoulders over wrists is really nice. That's going to help with the stability of the pose as well. And here we go. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Left toes are pointing down. That left hip loves to open up here. Resist the urge. So keep it's almost like you're wrapping that hip down. Gaze slightly forward. Imagine that somebody is pulling forward on your right wrist. You're going to notice all the little micro movements happening in your body as you fight to stay upright. This is how we get strong. This is how we master these poses. Really lovely work. Is one more deep inhale. And then exhale, release down. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. So you're just giving yourself some space for your downward facing dog. So we no longer want those shoulders over our wrists. Spread your fingers, press evenly. Start to wrap the outer arm towards the inner arm. So you're feeling muscle really firm to bone. Curl your toes under, keep a bend in your knees, and start to stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. You're releasing your ears between your upper arms. So you're just gazing between your feet. Stay up on your left toes. Start to melt that right heel back any amount. So feeling the stretch through the back of the leg. Back up to tippy toes. And then as you exhale, melt that left heel back. And then it's fine if there's still a little bend in your knees. Back up to tippy toes. Belly pulls in, sit bones stretch. And then maybe you start to release your heels back. Maybe the knees come towards straighter, maybe they don't. Allow your head to drop so you're gazing between your feet. Find that rhythm of your breath. And just know that the first downward dog of the day can always feel a little intense, especially if it's been a few days since you've done one. Nice and easy here. Start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. We're going to find a little standing cobra pose here. So a lot of us sometimes need to rock the weight slightly forward so you really feel those sit bones over your heels. Let's bring our hands to our shins, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, elbows are squeezing in. As you exhale, fold in, maybe with a bend in your knees, let your neck lengthen. Couple more like that, inhaling into Ardha Uttanasana. So this is our half forward fold. As we exhale, we come into Uttanasana, our full forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Beautiful work. As you exhale, you fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Start to stretch your arms out and up. Feel really tall as you rise up here. Nice work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So you're at the back of your mat. We're just going to do a couple of half sun salutes here. So feet, hips distance apart. They can be a little closer if you feel steady there. Arms releasing by your side, palms facing out. As you inhale, take up space, reach out. You can reach forward if you're in a more constricted area. As you exhale, hinge forward at your waist, fold in, let the back of your neck release down. Inhaling, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. This is like a standing cobra pose. As you exhale, you fold back in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's close our eyes for this next one. So inhaling, arms reach out and up. Exhale, you're folding in. Inhaling, the breath is lengthening you forward. Exhale, fold. Pressing down. Inhale, rise up. Palms press overhead. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Blink your eyes open. So again, you're at the back of your mat here. Feet hips distance apart. As you inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. So you're going to keep looking forward. You're probably going to find a little bend in your knees, nice and slow. Start to walk your hands forward to your downward facing dog. Bend in the knees is fine. When you get to your appropriate distance, you're just letting your ears line up with your biceps. So you're gazing between your feet. And then really firm the forearms in towards each other. Feel the front of the thigh press towards the back of the thigh. So you're really firming muscle to bone throughout your body. Hold on to that. As we inhale, we shift shoulders over our wrists. We come into our plank pose. And then nice and slow, lead with your hips on your exhale. Pull back into your downward facing dog. We're going to do that a few more times. It's like your little wave undulating on the ocean. Inhale, nice and slow. Take the whole inhale to come forward into your plank. And then as you exhale, hips stretch towards the ceiling. Pull back, downward dog. 2 more on your own. Moving with your breath. See if you can slow it down a little bit. So really turning this into a nice core exercise. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. And when you get there, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Again, nice and slow, all of those same actions. You're firming all of the muscles in your body. Your inhale carries you forward into your plank pose. Come way forward on your toes. Lower your knees down, little mini chaturanga as we exhale, elbows bend. So 1 inch, 2 inches, no more than shoulder heads in line with elbows. So I don't want you dipping down like this. That is a pose. It's not the one we're doing. Hold here at halfway. Take an inhale. Nice. And then exhale, come onto your belly. Tops of the feet press. Your fingertips are underneath your shoulder heads, so they should have landed pretty much where they need to be. Go ahead and wing your elbows out. Notice how that feels. Notice how the shoulder heads start to dip down. Then squeeze them in towards your waist. Notice how you get this open feeling, this lift of your heart and chest. That's what we want. We're just moving with the breath here. So exhale, roll down. Inhale, anchor into your feet. And just think of this coiling action forward and up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. You keep this deep bend in your elbows. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower down. And then inhale up, holding here, cobra pose. Maybe lift your hands up an inch or two off the mat. Feel your pubic bones pressing down. Feel your feet, kind of your toes spreading and pressing down into the mat. Place your hands back down. Nice deep inhale, feel that lift and extension of your heart. And then as you exhale, you're gonna press to your tabletop, curl your toes under, downward facing dog. And again, nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the Mondays out. Ha, let them go. Thank God there's only one. And then find a little bend in your knees here. Gaze forward, and then nice and slow, just start to walk your feet forward. It's like you're taking the scenic route. You're on a beautiful beach and you don't want to leave it. So you eventually make your way to the top of the mat. As you inhale, hands on shins or thighs, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold in. And you root down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, fold in. Feel those inner thighs spiral back. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. You're going to step your left foot way back. You're going to land on that left knee. We're going to take a couple breaths here, just melting this left hip down. So if you're really tight in your hip flexors, this is a beautiful place to have some blocks for your hands. It's just called bringing the floor closer to you. There is no shame in it. Keeping that breath smooth and steady, and you're paying attention to your body, to the sensations that you're getting. So for a couple of breaths here, I kind of like this stretch if you're interested in trying it. So we've got the top of the foot pressing into the mat. If you want to start to firm that leg up, for some of us, that just gets a little deeper into the hip flexor, into the top of the foot. It can feel really nice. For others of us, it just feels too intense, not good. So if that's you, you skip it or you try it and then you come out of it. Gaze forward. Okay, so if you're lifting that left knee up off the floor, go ahead and lower that knee down. We're going to bring both hands up to this right thigh. Make sure that you're not on a tightrope, so heel toe your right foot off to the right if you need to. Direct your tailbone down, stretch your sternum up. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Good, and then feel your outer hips really squeeze in towards each other. Let's bring our right fingertips to our left wrist, and let's find a nice little side bend here. So you start to lean off to the right. Beautiful, kneel. Feel these right ribs spiral up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other and release towards your tailbone. Maybe bring your gaze up. All right, as you inhale, come back up to center. Good, as we exhale, let's just plant our palms here. And let's just take our right knee back to meet our left knee. Nice, deep inhale. And then exhale, shift forward, lower, pause it halfway, and then come onto your belly. You might have to slide the legs back a little bit. Inhale into your low cobra. As you exhale, pass through your tabletop as you make your way in to your downward facing dog. All right, so from here, you are going to lift your left leg. As you exhale, step that foot through. So keep the right toes curled under. Stretch your arms forward here. So we're not peeling our chest up. You're just pretending that you're Rose on Titanic. Kind of working your core. Make sure you're not laying your belly down on that front leg. One more deep inhale, see how long you can get. And then exhale here, palms plant. You're gonna step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of your mat. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Nice work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Starting to feel a little heat here. Inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right foot way back, and then land on that right knee. Make sure that your feet are about hips distance apart. Start to melt this right hip down towards the floor. So big, big hip flexor stretch. This is a big muscle. It's pretty tight for most of us. Hands on blocks is a really great adjustment. Breath smooth and steady. Sometimes we start to hold that breath. And then again here, if you like that variation where you press into the tops or the top of the right foot, start to lift that knee up. It just kind of takes the stretch into a different place. It really gets into the top of the foot, which can be really nice, particularly if you've done any hiking or a lot of walking or running. Breath, even, steady. Okay, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, if that right knee is lifted, just lower it down, and then hands come up to this left thigh. So again, you want to make sure that you're on train tracks here as opposed to a tightrope. So walk that left foot off to the left if you need to. Direct your tailbone down. Stretch your sternum up. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. Already, you're finding that action of your outer hips squeezing in towards each other. You're feeling that support. We're going to take our left fingertips to our right wrist, and we're going to start to side bend to the left. It's this gorgeous stretch through the whole side body, especially this like lower right back area. You can find this idea of spinning the left ribs up towards the ceiling, and maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm if it feels okay to do so. Really beautiful work. All right, inhale, upright yourself here. And then as we exhale, palms plant, just bring that left knee back. So we're just doing our little modified chaturangas today. Shift forward on the exhale, lower halfway, hover. Exhale the rest of the air out as you lower onto your belly. Tops of the feet press. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, elbows squeeze in. And then from here, as you exhale, pass through your tabletop, curl toes under, downward facing dog. We go ahead and inhale, lift our right leg. Be careful of anything behind you. As you exhale, step that foot through. So feel outer hip squeeze in, nice deep bend in that right knee. Stretch your arms forward. So little core work. I'm being really sneaky about the core work today and just putting it in. Gaze out in front of you. Outer hip squeezing in a lot. One more deep inhale. And then exhale, palms plant, step your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. As you exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet. Stretch your arms out and up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Take a breath or two here, maybe close your eyes. Check in what's going on in your body. Is the heart beating a little faster? You're breathing a little faster. These are good things. Just noticing though. Maybe your mood is shifting. And I wish I could say that yoga only ever makes you happier, but some days, hey, it could make you grumpy too. It's just how life is. So hopefully it's the former choice and not the latter today. Let's go ahead and release our arms by our side. If you have blocks, I want you to go ahead and just have them towards the top of the mat. You may or may not need them, but just in case. So we're going to just find a little hip opening flow, and then we're going to take that into a fun little balance pose. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. Take up space. Let this feel good. You're just flowing here. Exhaling, you're folding in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms. Right foot way back, then left foot. Here we are again, our full plank. So take an inhale. As you exhale, shift forward. I'm going to come to my knees today. If you want to do full plank, you're welcome to do that. Lower halfway, hover, and all the way down. Inhale into low cobra. Nice work, Annette. As you exhale, you pull back into your downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, lift our right leg up, hips stay even. As you exhale, step that foot through between your hands. And then I want you to heel toe it to the left twice. Spin into the back edge of your left foot. So your right heel is intersecting your left arch. We're going to open up into our Virabhadrasana 2. Maybe just put a block behind your foot here, right foot. Windmill arms up and over. So warrior 2 pose, big hip opener in this front leg. Back leg is neutral. Torso is facing towards the long edge of your mat. Gaze out over your fingertips. Let your shoulder blades release down towards your tailbone. Feel the outer edges of your feet squeeze in towards each other. Your tailbone releases towards the floor. All of these little micro actions happening. If you only get one of those, you're doing good. Breath smooth and steady. Let's inhale, press to the inner edge of our right foot. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, nice and slow, back into Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale one more time like this. And then as we exhale, we sink back in. Flip your right palm to face up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Find your reverse warrior. Good. Take an exhale, sink in. And then inhale, press your front leg to straight. Exhale, bend that knee. Inhale into your reverse triangle pose. Exhale, bend in here. And then one more time, inhale, straighten that front leg, keep pressing to the inner edge of the foot. Feel all of this length through the right side of your waist. I want you to hold on to that as you start to hinge at this right hip crease, direct your hips to the left, reaching out. So we're going to come into our Trikonasana triangle pose. Hands unblocked behind the foot is really lovely here. You're feeling your shoulder blades stack on top of each other. You can kind of peek into your camera and see if that's happening if you have your camera on. Gaze can be down, could be forward, it could be up. Sometimes the tendency here is to like really lean the head back. So just kind of find that feeling of your cervical spine, so your neck being an extension of the rest of your spine. Maybe you start to bring your gaze up if you haven't already. Perhaps you even close your eyes here. I love that in this pose. It kind of helps me to get inside the pose and just notice where I'm getting different sensations. So blink your eyes open and don't overthink this. So just nice and easy. We're going to inhale into our reverse warrior. So you're going to be bending that front leg, reaching to the back leg. So your next inhale, nice and fluid. Just take your time, finding your reverse warrior. And then as we exhale, we're going to unwind here. Good. So palms plant, and you have a couple of options depending upon what you're needing today. If you're wanting more heat, so you're going to step back to your plank pose. You'll take your Chaturanga Vinyasa. If you're getting kind of cooked, you're just going to simply step back to either your plank to downward facing dog, or you could just step right to downward facing dog. So we all meet back there. In these Vinyasa flow classes, all of these little Chaturanga push-ups, they're not necessary. Some days we want more, some days we need less. You can always modify in a way that feels really good in your body. So we all meet back in our downward facing dog, and we're going to take that sequence to the second side. As you inhale, lift your left leg up. Keep hips even. And then as you exhale, step that foot through between your hands. You're going to heel toe this left foot to the right twice. And you can just move that block behind your ankle so you're ready. Spin into the back edge of your right foot so your left heel is intersecting that right arch. Deep bend in that left knee as you inhale. Windmill your arms up and over. Virabhadrasana 2. So again, left knee presses back. Right toes are spinning in, so you're releasing this right hip down. Your torso is squaring to the long edge of your mat. You're gazing out over your left fingertips. Outer edges of the feet are squeezing in. Tailbone is releasing down, but lower belly is pulling up. Again, so many little things. We can always be fine-tuning our yoga practice, which is exciting. We do these poses over and over and over, but there's always little ways that we can get a little deeper. All right, so let's go ahead and inhale, press that front leg to straight. Exhale, sink in. Just kind of warming all of this action up. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, front leg comes to straight, that left leg. Exhale in. Let's do one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling, sinking in. And then you're going to flip your left palm up. Legs stay exactly like this. Find your reverse warrior. So you're getting all of this lateral side stretch. Again, it feels really nice. Allow your shoulder blades to release down your back, especially that right one. They're squeezing in towards each other. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm if it feels okay. Make sure that you don't have the death grip on those front toes. Press a little more to the inner edge of the foot. And then with that sensation, as you inhale, straighten that front leg, we come into our reverse triangle pose. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale into your reverse warrior. And then inhale here. So we're in a reverse triangle. We want to hold on to this length through the left side, even as we hinge at that hip crease. Reach forward and make our way into our triangle pose. The most beautiful pose in all the land, in my humble opinion. I didn't love this pose when I first started yoga because it was so intense, and it's still intense. But I tell you what, a triangle pose is kind of like a morning cup of coffee. My day just doesn't feel right if I don't do it. And by day, I mean my body. So if you're not there, if you don't share the same deep affection for this pose that I do, one day, I promise, keep at it. So shoulder blades are stacking. Again, gaze can be down, forward, or up. How is this side different in your body? Can you get a little longer through that underside so that left waist? Really beautiful work, everybody. So we're transitioning this into our reverse warrior. So don't overthink it. Just be really fluid with your moment. As you inhale, move in that direction. Nice work. And then as you exhale, again, you unwind here. And so the options were to step to plank, take a beat there, pull back downward dog. You could step to plank, take a chaturanga vinyasa. Maybe you're just ready to pull back to your downward facing dog. These are all good. I'm a huge fan of less being more, especially if you're feeling a little tired, a little tender. And then once we all make our way back to downward facing dog, quick little child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart. Just release your head down. You can have your arms extending forward. They can be by your side. You might want to take an exhale or two through the mouth. Let it go. That is helpful to help cool the body down as well. And then start to rock on up. Curl toes under downward facing dog. Start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good. And you were promised a little standing balancing pose. So let's do a modification of what we did starting out on the floor with the strap. We're going to do the standing version of that. We're going to do it without the strap. We're all just going to keep our knee bent today. So finding your nice mountain pose, your nice Tadasana, feel lower belly pull in, feel outer hip squeeze in, all of these things that we've been working on throughout class. Start to root down into your left foot. And then we're just going to start to bend the right knee into our chest. So a couple of options here. You can interlace fingers around that left or right thigh. You might be able to interlace your fingers around that shin. They're both good places to be. Notice if you start to hunch forward, round in. I want you to be in the place where you can stand really tall. Okay. So you're going to keep that right hand under your thigh or on the shin. And let's just take our left arm out to kind of help us balance. And then start to open up that right thigh. So it's almost like you're going to come into a tree pose. Nice, Neil. Are you breathing? Are you looking at something in front of you that isn't moving? Have you fallen? Have you said mean things to yourself? It's no big deal. This is actually how we get good at these poses, is falling out of them. It's an important part of how our brain starts to make it all work. Okay, we come back to center here. Left hand comes to that right shin. You're gonna reach your left fingertips back behind you. And then nice and slow, you're gonna start to bring your gaze out over that right thumb. Maybe you don't get that far. And I don't know if you can see, but my standing leg is doing so much work here. Gorgeous. All right. Come back to center. Stretch your arms up. Ooh, see if you can hug that knee in a little tighter. I'm not going to make you straighten the leg today. That's how nice I am. Go ahead and release. It's because I can't straighten my leg today. Give the legs a little walkout. All right. Second side. So finding your nice Tadasana, outer hip squeeze in, lower belly in and up, root down into that right foot, bend that left knee. So just interlacing fingers where it feels good. Be in the place that you are able to just imagine that you're standing against a wall and pressing your shoulder heads back into the wall. Already noticing how this side might feel different in your body, just observing that. Okay, so either with your left hand underneath your left thigh or in front of your left shin, stay there, but reach your right arm out in a T shape and then start to open up. Keep squeezing the right hip in. Nice. So definitely much harder doing this standing than when we're laying down with a strap, but it's all the same actions. Doesn't have to look perfect. As you inhale, you come back to center here. Going to take this left or right hand rather underneath your left thigh or to the shin. And then you're going to reach those left fingertips back. And remember when we were doing this part of the pose laying down, our hips were stacking on top of each other. So find that idea here, even though you're standing. And maybe you start to bring your gaze out towards that left thumb. Maybe you fall out, no big deal. Couple more good breaths. Standing nice and tall. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. All right. Reach arms up. See if you can lift your left knee a little higher. Ooh, I'm feeling the hip flexors scream. And then as you exhale, release down. Give everything a little shake out. And let's come to a cross-legged seat, so our Sukhasana. And we're going to do some forward folds here. So you might want to have blocks handy. Also, if you know that you tend to round in your back a little bit, it's great to sit up on a blanket, which I'm going to do. So let's start with our right shin. crossed in front of our left shin. So we're going to get into the hips a little more here. So we're going to come into our double pigeon, seated forward fold. So some of us that are a little more open in the hips might be able to stack shins on top of each other. So if you're doing that and this right knee is lifting a lot, just come to this version where you're crossing in front. Find your sit bones, root down, and then you could have blocks in front of you as you inhale, arms reach up, find lots of length. Keep rooting into your sit bones. Start to hinge forward at your waist. Keep lots of length. So you're extending out. So hands could be resting on blocks. If you're a little more open, hands might be on the floor. You could have your head on a block. And then start to let your breath be a little easier here. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes on each side. So what do I mean by letting the breath be easier? So we're still inhaling and exhaling through our nose. It doesn't have that heated quality per se of the ujjayi anymore. We're starting to shift gears here. We're moving to these final moments of our practice. Maybe the inhale is getting longer and the exhale is getting a little longer. Observe for you as we come into these more static poses that are intense. If your attention starts to wander a little more, if the thoughts start to kick up, there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to happen. But maybe just keep bringing yourself back to your breath, perhaps even choosing to count the breath. It's just giving your brain something to chew on. And then for several breaths here, let's just find a little twist in this pose. We all have our right shin crossed in front. You're going to start to walk your hands towards that right knee. And if for any reason you have that left shin crossed in front, you're just going the opposite direction. You're wrapping left ribs towards that right thigh. Good. From here, walk back to center. Inhale, roll on up to seated. Extend your legs to straight, give them a shake, and then we take that to the second side. So recrossing left shin in front of your right shin, and you're more than welcome to stack shins on top of each other if you're a little more open in the hips. Most of us, that's not the case. Root into your sit bones, sitting nice and tall. Inhale, stretch arms out and up. And then you're trying to hold on to all of this length as you hinge forward, fold in. So for some of us, we're not going to get very far before we start to feel that big stretch in the left hip, which is why you might be pretty upright with hands on blocks. As long as you're feeling the stretch, you're doing it right. For those of us that are a little more open, we're going to fold in a little deeper, perhaps resting forehead on a block. Just listening to that sound of your breath. Paying attention to the sensation in that outer left hip, sending your breath there. And also just enjoying the stillness. Good. And then again, for a few more breaths, we're going to find our twist here in this forward fold. So just start to walk your hands off to the left. Again, you're just going to that place that feels good. So you're kind of shifting the stretch in your lower back here. You're wrapping your right ribs towards that left thigh. Slowly start to walk back to center. And then you're going to inhale, roll on up. Extend legs, give them a little shake. We did it. We have made it to our final resting pose. So I'm going to give you the option. If you would prefer to just stay seated in quiet meditation today, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, Shavasana is always a beautiful way to end. So you can make your way onto your back, maybe give your knees a little squeeze into your chest there. And then you're going to find your final resting pose. So if you are a person with tenderness in your lower back, you're going to keep your knees bent. You're just going to knock them in towards each other. Otherwise, you can come into classic Shavasana here. So make any little adjustments that you need to so that you can completely surrender. And just take these final moments of our class to rest, to be quiet and still. And allow your next inhale to be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go ha. And then just bringing some gentle movement back to your body, wiggling fingers, toes, stretching out. Yeah, staying soft and quiet, just roll to one side or the other, finding the fetal position. And then you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. So we were just here. Notice how this feels. So notice how you feel differently than you did at the beginning of class. Notice how your breath has shifted, how your headspace has shifted. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. Promise yourself that you're going to carry this good feeling you've worked so hard to create into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart and just bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today, everybody. Thank you.